Hello and welcome to Fashion Report Friday, the video series trying to get you the most MGP possible from the Mandeville Gold Saucer every Friday when judging begins. This is week 229, and if you go over to the Gold Saucer, you'll realize that the theme is Diabolically Precise. The individual clues for this theme include Simple is Best for your chess piece, Diabolical for your hands, Pirates in the Sky for your legs, and Near Eastern Nights for your feet. In this video we have a 100 score, an 80 with dies, and my crack at the easiest 80. Without further ado, let's get straight to that 100 score. Okay, for the 100 score, as you can see, nice and easy here. Unfortunately, the pieces aren't that great this week, but we'll go through them anyway. Firstly, one of the easiest pieces to get is the Survival shirt. This will get you gold rating this week. You can also go for the Extreme Survival shirt as well, and I believe the Rami shirt will also give you gold. So get whichever of those is the most appropriate. The reason I went for the Survival shirt is because it's equipable by all classes level 1 and above, and it's a basic Weaver recipe. It shouldn't be too difficult to track one of these down, and on the market board this morning I got my Survival shirt for 10,000 gil. So bear in mind you might want to actually hold on to one of these into the future as well, put it in your retainer, because Fashion Report does tend to use this item quite regularly. So those are the few alternatives that I would recommend, and also this item. For the hands then, this unfortunately has to be any gloves from the Dunscaith Alliance raid. So Dunscaith was added back in the day into Heavensward, and you know, it's not a particularly difficult thing. You could unsync this if you had 3 friends. Through the unsync, you know, the unrestricted system, if you put them all into a separate alliance and then queued, it is possible to do that 3 or 4 man, but of course, you know, you might as well just queue up for this. So any of these gloves will work. I went for the maiming ones because simply they're the first ones that dropped for me on my runs, but of course, you know, go for whichever you have access to and whichever drop. Unfortunately, there are no other alternatives outside of Diabolic gloves that will work for this slot. For the legs then, I went for the Tantalus breeches, and the main reason again for this is because it's equipable by all classes in the game level 1 and above. This was originally one of the veteran rewards for up to 150 days. You can obtain this from Jonathas or your achievement certificate exchange over in Old Gridania, nice and simple. Alternatives to this slot though do actually include the replica and original Sky Pirates legs. Those should work, so stuff like the Gaskins, offending and maiming, that sort of stuff, just go through those. I believe also the Orthodox trousers will work as well, which includes striking, scouting and aiming, and I don't know about any other alternatives, but if you do have access to the Tantalus breeches, which most people probably do, then you know that's a nice, simple, straightforward selection in my opinion. And then finally for the gear, the Favnerian sandals are what I went for the feet, because they're equipable by all classes level 1 and above. I've got a real, you know, focus on trying to get that as much as possible when it comes to these fashion reports, something that can be equipped by the lowest level. We are of course locked into level 60 because of the gloves, but you know, for other options, you know, nice and simple. These of course will cost you quite a bit of gil actually if you buy them from other players. It's better to craft them if you can. Alternatives to the sandals include the Favnerian babouches as well, which are no difference in expense. And then there's the married leather babouches of crafting or gathering, which of course are locked to Disciple of Hand and Land. So yeah, there's not many alternatives that will work for this that I could find. Maybe you know some other solutions to leave in the comment section. But that's the 100 score. Not terribly bad, but also not terribly great either. Yeah, unfortunate. But let's move on to the 80 with dies. Okay, so as you can see, for the best dies of the week, we have weapon being Ash Grey. So any weapon in the game, Ash Grey. Any helm in the game died metallic silver. Any body and hands in the game died gunmetal black. Any legs in the game, abyssal blue. And finally, any feet in the game, rust red. Doesn't matter what you equip as long as you have something in every slot and your left side is dyed appropriately as I've shown you here. So yeah, make sure there's something in every slot, including your accessories on the right side, and you'll be guaranteed an 80 score. The dies this week aren't too bad, but the 2 gunmetal blacks make this quite expensive unless you have spare Sky Builder scripts. The rest of the things like Abyssal Blue, Rust Red, Ash Grey, not too difficult to obtain. Bearing this in mind then, let's move straight on to the easiest 80 I could come up with based on a lot of these dies for the most part. Okay, so this is the easiest 80 I could come up with. There's probably lots of other ways you could do this depending on what access you have to different gear. But as you can see, for the chest piece, I went for the survival shirt. Again, this is a basic Weaver craft. It should be accessible to most of you. It only cost me 10,000 gil off the market board. The mats are a lot cheaper than that to make it, so if you can make it or get a friend to make it, nice and easy. And it's equipable by all classes, both genders in the game, level 1 and above. I've also dyed this Soot Black dye because obviously the best in slot dye would be Gunmetal Black, but we don't want to spend lots of gil, so I just purchased a Soot Black dye, nice and easily accessible. Along with the theme of Soot Black dye, I also put Soot Black dye on any gloves in the game. This is any gloves, it doesn't matter what gloves you have equipped. Dye those Soot Black dye and you will get some points. And then obviously you get extra points for just having something equipped in your legs, it doesn't matter what that is. And then finally, any boots in a game, and we've dyed those Rust Red dye. So there we go, nice and easy 80. As you can see, but there's not really too much to complain about here. Just make sure you have everything as it is right now, so something in every single slot. So you need to have something in your accessory slots, your rings, your neck, etc., your ring, your ears. You need to have obviously a weapon equipped, and but yeah, just get the survival shirt, dye that Soot Black. Any gloves in the game, dye those Soot Black. Have something equipped obviously in each slot, and then dye any boots in the game Rust Red, and you'll have no problem at all. Specifically Rust Red, if you're wondering where that's from, you can get that from any low-level dye vendor, such as like Lolanu or something like that. You can go to sorry, it's Nanabay, isn't it? Nanabay in Uldar, sorry. Nanabay or Sanariel in Limsaluminsa Lower Decks. There's plenty of low-level accessibility to this. So that's really where I wanted to go for the easy 80, something that was accessible by the majority of people, including alts, right? Because I know a lot of people like to save up MGP on alts. Another top tip is obviously to have your Grand Company, your free company buffs on for MGP, which is Jackpot 2, get an extra 10%. And if you've got access to personal buffs from your squadron missions, then you get even more. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully it was helpful. Leave comments below of what you suggest for any slots or what you went with. A lot of people look in the comment section for guidance as well for other options. So thank you very much. A link in the description will take you to the Reddit thread where this is theorized each and every week. Much love to everybody around the world that takes part in this, especially with dye testing. It's fantastic and incredibly helpful. All right, much love. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.